Right. Welcome to my first YouTube video. Today I'm going to talk about Catalina and screen sharing. This is obviously my first video, and I've been spending a lot of time, like many, at home because of COVID-19, trying to find new hobbies and interests. And I found that I really do enjoy making videos and editing content, but I have to say for sure, kudos to all of the people out there who know how to do this very well. There's a lot of great content on YouTube, and I've learned a lot over the last few weeks on how to actually make videos. For example, and I've actually been spending more money than I should for things like this, which is an ATEM Mini Pro that I will be using really soon, along with another video camera that I have that I can't use currently because I'm missing a couple of key pieces. So once those arrive, the quality will go up, and hopefully the content will go up as well. For now, we're going to keep it simple and actually just make a video about screen sharing on Catalina, because this is something that I actually use a lot while I'm locked up at home as well. So let's just pop over to my other screen. So what do I see here is actually my too long do not watch. Basically, if you're on Catalina and you're trying to find the client app for screen sharing, it is very well hidden. It is it's in a folder called /system/library/core services/applications, and you can see it that it's here. It's called screen sharing. You used to have to download this, and I used to use it for years and years on all of the previous versions of macOS. Catalina, the version that I had, stopped working because it was 32-bit. So the first thing I did was I went to the App Store and I searched to see if I could find a new client. And the only thing I could find actually was this beautiful piece of kit here, which is the Apple Remote Desktop. And as you can see, it cost $125. I thought that was pretty outrageous. So I tried a couple of things to actually to get around this, one of which was using the free or really cheap versions of VLC clients. They tended not to work for me at all. Some worked better than others, but none worked as well as the original Mac app, which I've showed you where it is. Now, there are two ways you can actually get to this. But the first way you can get to it, and the way I got to it originally, was through Safari. So if you actually use the URI VLC:// and then you type in the IP number for the server you want to connect to, you can see here that I've connected to one in the past, then it will open this app, which I now actually have in my dock, right? So if I open this up, what I see is a remote server. This server here, I have actually a couple of them in my house. This one actually is connected to my TV, and I use it to watch videos on my TV. Obviously, you can use Apple TVs. There are lots of ways you can do this. I just had a computer connected for a different reason, and this is how, for years and years, I've proxied to the US, actually, and used certain streaming services. Now, in Australia, we have things like Stan, and we have Netflix, and we can certainly watch content on those, and the content is okay, but it tends to be much more limited to the ones in the US. So as a bonus, I'll show you another simple trick, another free trick. So let's pretend you have a friend or a family member in another country, let's say the US, who knows a little bit about computers, and they can give you SSH access to that computer. Assuming you can SSH to the server, then you can create what's called a SOCKS proxy. You can certainly pay for proxies. In some countries, they tend to be reasonably expensive, so basically a VPN that you'd pay for. Many of them are a bit painful to use, and they're sort of hit and miss depending on the services that you want to use. So you can see I have another terminal window open here, and basically I have a shortcut, or I have a shell script on my desktop that runs the proxy that I want to talk about. So if I just cap the contents of this file, what I see basically is a bash script, and all you have to do to create a SOCKS proxy actually is to run an SSH command with the option -D and a port number. 2001 is the one that I use here, and then the IP number or the host name that you're going to SSH to. Once you have this, then you can run it, and actually you can use it, and it works really, really well. So there are a couple ways to configure a SOCKS proxy. I'll show you that very quickly as well. The other thing, actually, just in case you don't know what remote server access is, before I show you how to use the proxy, let me just pop into here and see if I can show you quickly how to set up sharing. Right, so the client app that I'm using to connect to this server requires that you have remote management turned on. This is all you really need. So if you have remote management turned on any Mac server or laptop or desktop, and you allow certain users, you can see this user is me, to access, then you can actually use this remote client that I was alluding to earlier on my local computer. I have SSH set up on the server as well for obvious reasons, but that's not important here. Right, so that's the client-server VLC connection for Macs. It's freely available in the operating systems now, and I find it super useful. Right, so you can configure at a system-wide level to use the proxy, or you can configure just a browser to use it, and that's what I do. So let me just show you this real quickly. I use Firefox in this case to do this, and the reason I use Firefox is because Brave and Chrome and Safari actually won't allow you to configure just a single proxy for that browser. They prefer to use the system-wide configuration, which makes everything go through the proxy, which is what I don't really want to do here. So the way you set up a SOCKS proxy is you just go to your preferences and scroll down to the bottom, click on settings, and you can see here that I have a manual proxy configuration, and I use the SOCKS host. 127.0.0.1 is, if you don't know, that's the local loopback for the computer that I'm using here, which is the proxy. And you don't actually put the IP number for the server that you're proxying to, right? And then the port number, as I said before in my script, was 2001, right? So it's pretty easy to configure. Once you have it configured, if we were to go back to where we were before, so let's say I was going to try and use Hulu. The first thing you'll see is basically that I'm not running my SOCKS proxy right now because it says that the proxy server is refusing connections, which is what I want to see. It means I've got the browser configured to use the SOCKS proxy. Now, if I just go to here and I fire off my proxy, the one that actually is set up properly for me, it takes a minute for it to run, but then if I just go back to here and I reload Hulu, voila, I'm logged into Hulu and I can watch video content to my heart's desire. So, okay, I think that's pretty much everything I want to show today. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. I think hopefully over time I'll find other things to make videos about, perhaps some machine learning programming I'll make available to you. And I may also start playing with, as I play with my new hardware, I certainly hope to make some videos about that because it's been quite tricky for me to figure out how to do this. There are obviously lots of great content on how to do this on YouTube, and I think you can certainly look at much of that to figure out how to do it. If you want to see someone learning from the very beginning, I will try to document that process in my videos. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. If you want to get updates or anything about future content, I think you can subscribe or however it works in YouTube, and then or check back later and see if there are other videos here that you might find useful. I'll do things on probably maybe shell scripting, etc. We'll see. So thanks for watching, and hopefully other things will happen that will be useful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks.